Hello everyone. Well, for today's video, I thought I would make another one of these Yummy Nummy kits, and this time it's going to be tacos. So this should be really interesting. I've enjoyed making the other kits, and I thought this would be fun to make as well. We're going to do something a little different because I also have something else to show you in this video, and that was something that I got from a company called Inateck. I've reviewed some of their headphones before, and they sent me this little digital scale to use in a video and show off to you guys. So I thought it would be interesting to combine these two things, since this has measurements and powders and things, and I could use this to see how much I'm actually using. So that sounds like a little added twist. It'll be fun. So let me get this out and going, and then we'll get into making some tacos. Okay. So let's see what this is like. It's pretty small. Here's the instructions. It has a nice plastic cover on it. That's nice, especially if you're using it in the kitchen. Keep it from getting spilled on or something. That's pretty cool. And then the actual scale has its own cover over it like that. Okay. First thing we need to do is see if this has any batteries in it. It does not. We need some AAA batteries. So let me go find those, and I'll be right back. Okay. So I found some AAA batteries. So let's put these in here correctly. Okay. Now, it says hello. It's a very friendly scale. Now, I briefly also read the instructions. This is not only a cover, but can also be a small tray. And this is not only a cover, but can be a large tray. But I think for what we're going to use it for, I'm going to use this little plate. I think it'll be easier to work with than something that has these sides, because I'm not going to be working with liquid or anything. So I'm going to set these to the side, and I'll use them to keep it nice and clean and safe as covers. Now, one of the things you want to do with a scale is you don't want to be weighing the object that is holding the powder or whatever it is that you're trying to weigh. So with this scale, you have a T button over here, And here this says this weighs 60 grams. And we hit the T button, and it sets it to 0. And then whatever additional things we add to this, we will know the weight of. So we take it off, it measures it as -60. This cycles through some different measurements. So here we have ounces. I can deal with ounces a little bit better than grams. Those other ones I had no idea what they are, so I could research them. So that's the basic functions. Here's the on-off button. And this is PCS. This is for counting if you have a series of things that all weigh the exact same amount. You can weigh one of them, and then as you add more, it will keep a count of how many you've added. I thought that was pretty cool. So let's set this to the side for now, and then get into our taco making. Put that right there. Okay. Get my handy dandy knife here, which needs to be cleaned. I broke down a box yesterday. I forgot to clean my knife off. Okay. I'm learning how to open these boxes after the third one without making a huge amount of noise. Okay. I always like these sets because they have everything that you need, and it's really good quality plastic and tools. Okay. Here is our bag of tools. Here are the instructions. And here are all the powders that we need. Let me unpack everything and then we can get started. Okay, so I have everything set up here ready to go. I've separated my trays. I have the cup and the plate and the spoon that we'll use at the end. I have my measurement scoop here, and I have my scale with my little plate on it. So we're going to measure into here, then pour it here to mix it, and then do what we need to. For the first step, for the tortillas, for our tacos, we're going to put them in here and then cook them. So that's the first step. So here's my package of powder for that. I went ahead and just cut the entire top off. It seems to be working a lot better. So we use the round scoop for the powder, and we need to put 6 scoops. So let's turn on our scale. Okay, it's set to 0, so it's already taking into account the plate that's on top of it. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. This powder doesn't have much of a smell to it yet, which I guess is a good thing. Okay. And so we see that this weighs 0.35 ounces. That's good to know, I guess. Especially if you were doing like a recipe. It wasn't a toy like this. If you had to actually measure something very specific to make sure you got it exactly right, a scale like that would be very important. For instance, if you are on a very strict diet and you can only have so much of a certain thing, that would be important. Okay. So now we have the 6 scoops in here, and we're going to add 2 scoops of water. So we use the square side. We go 1, 2. And we'll get our spoon and we'll start mixing this up. And it's going to form a dough. I assume these are supposed to be like flour tortillas and not corn tortillas, from the looks of it. I'm not really getting a smell like corn. I'm not really getting a smell like anything. So move it back and forth here to make sure all the powder gets clumped together into the dough. These things sometimes take a bit of patience to work with. So all of the powder gets mixed together. And it seems to want to escape here to this side too. We'll clean that up later. And move the powder over here. Start pressing it together. It's usually difficult to work with until it reaches a certain point, and then it all starts to just kind of clump together and work. I'm not quite sure what consistency this needs to be. So I'm just going to mix it until the powder is gone. This little spoon is kind of bendy. Not very substantial for thicker doughs like that. It has a good dough-like color to it, and consistency. I'm going to add just a drop more water. I think we need that. We still have some powder here to be mixed in. Especially here along the sides. Now what I think I'm going to do is just pick this up and clean up all the powder from the other areas. Seems like we have a little bit hiding out here. Because there's plenty of moisture in the dough. It's just getting it in contact with all of the powder so that it's all mixed together. Even some in here are pretty messy, aren't they? Okay. Looks like we're getting there. It's got a little bit of stickiness to it. I guess that's good. Some pliability. Okay. So now, let's mix this together a little bit more. And we're going to transfer it over here and divide it in half. And spread this out in these trays. I'm going to use the back of a spoon here and see if that helps. Getting it a consistent thickness across the whole thing is kind of tricky. You don't want any really thin spots. There we go. Seems to be working a little better. Just wanted to stick to my finger a little bit. Okay. Now let's work with this one. Almost there. Let's push some of this over to this side. Okay, now we can smooth it out with our finger. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Now we need to microwave this for 10 seconds and then move on to making the meat. Okay? So I'm going to microwave them both together. So I'll hold this, we'll make the meat, and then I'll do them both at the same time. So now let's move on to the meat filling. And that comes in this little package right here. shake it up a little bit. Okay. Now, once again, it's got our little scale here. And this time, we are using 4 scoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. I used most of that. It's interesting. Usually you have a lot left over. Now this goes into tray number 3. And then we have 3 scoops of water. 1, 2, 3. This seems to be similar to the meat that I used for the hamburgers. It has a similar smell, which is a nice meaty smell to it. Can't remember what the ratio of water to powder was on that one. I think it was a little less because we made it into patties. This is just going to be like a loose meat. Definitely mixes more easily. Okay. So now we need to go microwave the meat and microwave our taco shells. So I will be right back. Okay, so I've microwaved these for a little bit. Let's see here, we have the taco shells. Spin those into a taco-like shape. They hold together pretty well. I'll put those right there. Maybe that'll help them keep kind of a shape that I need. And it says to chop this up into like a crumble to put on the tacos. I think I'm going to continue just dividing it kind of in half. It does smell like taco meat, so it definitely has a different spice and flavoring than the hamburger meat. Okay, so there's that. Now, we don't need this anymore. Move that out of the way. And I think we're going to be concentrating on using these wells. Next is the cheese. So now we have a little problem with the cheese, and the fact that some moisture got into this package and has turned the cheese from a powder into lumps of kind of hardened cheese. So I don't know how well this is going to go, but we're going to try it. It says to scoop 2 scoops of powder and 1 scoop of water. So what I'm going to do is dump out these larger chunks and see if I can get to some powder here at the bottom. So I don't know that I can do it. It's all pretty much chunkified. Well, we do know we've dumped everything out here. And it says here that it's 0.35 ounces. But if we measure it, it says it is 0.42. So, assuming that this was the correct measurement, which I don't see why it wouldn't be, we can see that it has gained quite a bit of water weight through the atmosphere and time and just absorbing it. So, I don't know how this is going to work, but we're going to try it. I want us to use this one here. And I guess I can find a scoop or a chunk that's kind of about approximately 1 scoopful. There we go, 1. And let's see if we can find another one here. 2. I do not think this is going to work, but we'll try. And now it wants us to add 1 scoop of water. So the question is, can we reconstitute this into a liquid by breaking this down into this water, or has it already become so hard that it won't absorb anything else? So why don't we let that set for just a little bit and see if that softens up any. So let's pour this back into here. It is unfortunate because usually this set has really good quality control, and that should have worked up into a nice little cheese sauce very easily. Okay. And brush the rest of this off onto here. Maybe we'll just have cheese chunks on our tacos. It has a nice cheesy smell, but we'll see. We'll move on to the next one, which is the sauce. So let's open up this package. Okay, so now we're using this one, and it is 2 scoops. One, two. And that goes into here. You have to be a little bit more careful. This is a smaller place to move it into. Try not to get any taco sauce in our taco cheese. Okay, I think that worked pretty well. Now we have 1 scoop of water. And we'll try to mix this up very carefully. Okay, it's turning into a red, kind of like ketchup-y consistency. Thickening up a little bit. Okay, that was pretty easy. Let's see. Yeah. It's kind of the same flavor as the meat, the taco seasoning flavor. It's pretty spot on. Certainly not an artificially type flavor. Okay. Our cheese is doing something. Looks a little bit more like macaroni and cheese now. I think given enough time that might come around. And that leaves us with the final piece, which is the drink. And we're just going to scoop this straight into the cup. This is only 1 scoop. Clean up my scoop here. Okay. And, ooh, it's kind of a bluish powder. We want 1 scoop right in there. And then it says fill it up with water. Now last time, or the first time, we filled it up all the way to the top, and it was kind of really watery. So we're not going to fill it all the way up. We're going to do it like to there. Oh, it's greenish. You hear that? It's fizzing. It's very neon green. Okay, we'll set that right there. Okay. So now let's make some tacos. cheese is not a complete lost cause. Maybe I should have started this one first, so it would have had plenty of time to absorb the liquid. But it does look like it's reconstituting, which is nice. It's not completely staying like little cheese crystals, or big cheese crystals. Okay. So let's get one of our taco shells. Let's get our taco meat here. I don't think we need quite that much. Push that into there. Now they gave us some little piping bags to pipe over the sauce, but I don't think the cheese is going to go through there, and I'll just spoon some of the taco sauce on top of here. So there's our lumpy cheese. Looks really appetizing, doesn't it? Oh yeah. And then some of our taco sauce right over the top. So there you have it. I think the meat didn't crumble very well into like a crumbly taco meat, and obviously the cheese had some problems, but I think these came out pretty well, especially putting them in here in this tray and letting them take that shape. I think if you let them get too dry, flat, I think they would break when I tried to make a taco out of them. So let's see if this tastes anything like a taco. Yeah, it has kind of a taco-y spice flavor. A little chewy. Again, the flavor is certainly superior to some of the other powdered kits that you can get. That often seem to have a really chemically flavor to them that only closely approximates what they're trying to be. These kits seem to have done a much better job of hitting the actual flavor. So there's our second taco, and let's try our drink. Vaguely citrusy flavor, but not necessarily all that great. Okay. Definitely kind of chewy, but not an unpleasant taste at all. We'll finish up with the rest of this. Okay. So that was Yummy Nummies Mini Kitchen Magic taco set. I think the cheese was the biggest problem, obviously, but I think that's just, it's probably a really small, microscopic little hole that didn't seal up, that let a little bit of moisture in. Flavor-wise, really nice. And pretty easy to follow instructions. And we had our little scale here that helped us see how much water weight these things had gained. That was kind of cool. So thank you for watching, and please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I have some other kits to make, and I have some Japanese candy coming and a whole bunch of other things planned. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.